seems dead to me.
Oh, yeah. Roller coaster at Epic Universe. Hello, testing test. Hi. Earlier, because this is the first time I'm hearing you. Sorry, Joe.
Hi.
The Stardust Racers roller coaster at Epic Universe still closed tonight, days after a guest died on the ride. Coming up, what we're learning about the criminal investigation into this incident.
Tropics starting to bubble a little bit. 2 waves to watch over the next week or so, plus rain chances also going up in Central Florida. We have your forecast coming up in a few minutes.
There's a big difference when it comes to a threat of violence, a call for violence.
State leaders are announcing a new portal to report political threats, and the education commissioner says teachers could lose their license over online comments.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 4 p.m.
Happening right now, President Trump is getting ready to make an announcement about autism. There are reports that federal health leaders are connecting the use of Tylenol during pregnancy to the disability.
Yeah, in a statement to CBS News, the maker of Tylenol said independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists also says there is no clear evidence that proves a direct relationship between the two.
Of course, you can listen to the press conference as soon as it begins live on clickorlando.com, and we'll have updates here on News 6.
More breaking news now. ABC will reinstate Jimmy Kimmel's Late Show. In a statement from ABC, leaders say they have spent the last few days having conversations with him, and after those discussions, they've decided to return the show tomorrow. ABC suspended Kimmel indefinitely last week after he made comments about Charlie Kirk and the man accused of killing him.
We are keeping a close eye on the tropics this afternoon. Right now, we are watching 2 tropical waves as Gabrielle brings rip currents to our coast.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with what we can expect. Jonathan.
Yeah, we are watching 3 things. Gabrielle going to be likely upgraded to a Category 4 storm at the 5 o'clock advisory. Again, as we talked about last week, that is no player in our forecast. It's going to be way up and east of Bermuda. Watching these 2 tropical waves, though, we have the one in orange. Obviously, that's a little closer to home. We're watching it closely. And then a trailing wave that has the higher opportunity for development right now. We'll take a closer look at some model paths with these coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now, nothing to be overly too concerned with as we watch this, as we are watching things, again, mainly try to bend away from from Florida. Wanted to show you the latest on Gabrielle because remember last week at this time it was hardly anything. We were talking about it had that opportunity to become a hurricane, but now a major hurricane as it moves past the east side of Bermuda right now. Again, as of the 11 o'clock advisory, 120 miles an hour, but a likely upgrade to Category 4 status is coming down the pipeline by the 5 o'clock advisory. Right now we are nice and dry. We do have a couple of downpours just south of Kenansville, hanging around Yeehaw Junction tonight. Any kind of thunderstorm shot that we have this evening should stay south of Kissimmee and south of Rockledge tonight. We'll talk about increasing rain chances for tomorrow coming up at about 4:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Breaking news now. We have learned there is now a criminal investigation going on in response to a man dying after riding a roller coaster at Epic Universe.
That is according to internal correspondence we've reviewed between the Orange County Sheriff's Office and the Medical Examiner's Office. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now live outside of Epic. And Mike, there are a lot of questions about what happened there.
Yeah, certainly a lot of questions, guys, and now we're learning a little more about the Sheriff's Office approach to this investigation. In an email with the ME's office, a sergeant cites a statute that relates to manslaughter. It's Florida State Statute 782.07, and a quick Google search will show you it has to do with manslaughter. And notably, the statute includes this: aggravated manslaughter of an elderly person or disabled adult. We know that according to an incident report by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Zavala had a pre-existing spinal injury and was on medication at the time. A GoFundMe page established in his memory depicts Zavala in a wheelchair. According to Epic Universe's own guide for safety and accessibility, Stardust Racers is not recommended for guests with back, neck, or similar physical injuries. The ME's office said Zavala died from multiple blunt impact injuries. But when News 6 Monday requested information from Zavala's autopsy, the ME's office told us the Sheriff's Office had claimed an exemption to release reports related to Zavala's death, citing, quote, active criminal investigative information. While that investigation continues, the Stardust Racers roller coaster remains closed. But the COO of Universal Orlando Resort is insisting that the ride systems functioned as intended that night. In an email to Universal staff, she expressed her condolences to Zavala's family and wrote that internal findings to date confirm that the equipment was intact throughout the duration of the ride, from start to finish, and that the team members followed procedures. Meanwhile, that GoFundMe that was established in Zavala's memory, it has surpassed $26,000. That is above and beyond the goal of about $8,000, and it continues to climb. The page describes Zavala as, quote, truly one of a kind who had an old soul, wise beyond his years, with a heart full of compassion, love, and understanding. Of course, if we learn anything else about this significant investigation, we'll bring you the latest on air and online on clickorlando.com. For now, we're live outside Universal. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
And there is still a lot to learn. Mike, thank you. Well, for the first time, one of the women charged in a deadly dog attack in DeLand had her case heard in court. She is charged in the January killing of 8-year-old Michael Millett. She is one of 2 dog owners facing charges here. Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court today where the judge talked about possible resolutions in this case.
The judge here today asked to be kept informed about any possible resolution. But Michael Millett's family, they were in court today, and we talked to them after. They say they want to see the max punishment. They do not want to see any plea deals in this case. Now, Amanda Franco and Brandy Hodel both waived their personal appearance here in court, but both of their defense attorneys were here to talk about their case with the judge.
The cases were both continued, with defense attorneys saying they need more time after getting new evidence from the state. Back in January, deputies say 8-year-old Millett was riding his bike in his DeLand area neighborhood when he was attacked and killed by 2 dogs that got loose from a nearby home. Both dogs were euthanized. Deputies say both Frankel and Brandy Hodel also tried to cover up evidence of prior issues with the dogs. Investigators say Franco deleted her Facebook account. Hodel erased messages, but neighbors gave detectives screenshots showing a history of the dogs getting loose and attacking other animals.
And part of the evidence or documents one of the defense attorneys say they want more time with is a witness list. Both women are scheduled to be back here in court at the end of October. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Police in Fruitland Park are asking for help to find a suspect accused of shooting at another vehicle and hurting the driver. The incident happened last Friday around 10:30 near US 27 and Register Road. Police said the victim was driving on US 27 when the suspect vehicle fired several unprovoked shots. The victim did not know anyone in the vehicle and could not describe it. Investigators found multiple bullet holes on the left side of the victim's car, and the driver suffered a graze wound. The driver was hospitalized and later released. Anyone with information is asked to contact Fruitland Park Police.
Tens of thousands of people packed Arizona's NFL stadium on Sunday for a memorial service honoring influential conservative organizer Charlie Kirk. It's been nearly 2 weeks since he was shot and killed at a crowded event on a Utah college campus. In the aftermath of Kirk's death, Florida's Attorney General is announcing a new portal to report political threats in the state. News 6's Mark Lehman explains how it will work.
Florida's Attorney General meeting here at Valencia College's West Campus, where he announced a new tool to report threats of violence. It's something he says is important for protecting lives and protecting the rule of law.
It's important for us to come out and protect a free market of ideas.
Attorney General James Othmeyer says the state is launching a resource in response to what he says is a nationwide escalation of political violence. Less than 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Florida has opened a combat violent extremism portal.
But there's a big difference when it comes to a threat of violence, a call for violence. That is not protected by the First Amendment.
Othmeyer says the goal is for people to report any planning or threats of violence. Through the portal, someone can upload video, images, and text messages.
It'll allow us to work with law enforcement to get the appropriate evidence that we need immediately.
Meanwhile, Florida's education commissioner says he's also been investigating teachers who have posted messages celebrating Kirk's assassination. His office is pursuing charges against a teacher in Clay County for her comments, which he says encourages violence.
Let me be clear. This is completely unacceptable and it will not be tolerated. As these posts continue to circulate, more and more students are exposed to the dangerous and false idea that violence is an acceptable response to differing beliefs.
Florida's education commissioner said there are teachers here in Central Florida who they are looking into after making posts following the Charlie Kirk assassination. He would not, however, go into specifics of those, citing an ongoing investigation. For now, reporting in Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
The UCF community is mourning the loss of an offensive line coach for the football team. Leaders with the Knights say Sean Clark died yesterday evening in the hospital. The team says he experienced a medical emergency and was admitted nearly 2 weeks ago. Clark joined UCF in December. Before that, he served as head coach of Appalachian State. He also coached at Eastern Kentucky, Purdue, and Kent State. Clark leaves behind a wife and 2 children. He was 50 years old. A local city has shut down a theater during peak season.
Why leaders are condemning it and what the theater company is saying about it, that's coming up.
I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. A local man got a telephone call promising to erase his traffic ticket, but ultimately cost him hundreds of dollars. We uncover how the scheme works and what you need to know to protect yourself. Coming up.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
A local man got a telephone call promising to erase his traffic ticket, but ultimately cost him hundreds of dollars. I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden, and this week's Schemes and Ripoffs Alert, we uncover how the scheme works and what you need to know to protect yourself. Did you ever think this could happen from a fender bender?
No.
Damian Shellberger was in a minor crash in his Chevy Silverado. He was ticketed, and even though the damage was minimal, the phone call that came about a week later was costly.
This is Sergeant Anderson with the Volusia County Courthouse and Civil Processing Division. I'm calling in regards to a citation we have here for Mr. Shellberger.
So this person had all of the information.
The price of the ticket, he knew everything. And it made me feel that it was true.
This is in regards to that citation for a failure to use due care, sir.
What normal person can know all this information?
Here's how. After you get a traffic ticket, it goes from the law enforcement agency that issued it to the county clerk of the court's office. Once it gets to the clerk's office, it becomes a public record. And all of the details of the ticket, the date, the vehicle type, are online for anyone to access, even criminals. Shellberger was told he could pay using a payment app.
I would have to pay through one of those, and I can get the ticket removed, no points, no nothing. Just pay the ticket.
He sent the money via Apple Pay. The crook said they didn't get it, so he sent it twice and was out of $332.
I don't want something like this to happen to somebody else.
This is actually a new twist on a familiar scheme.
He told me that I had a $20,000 bond and I was able to pay 10% of it over the phone through Zelle.
Back in May and July, News 6 told you about the jury duty scam.
Every week, criminals claiming to work for the court system or law enforcement call our residents threatening to arrest them for missing jury duty.
So many people are getting the calls and losing money that it prompted Orange County Sheriff John Mina, Clerk of Courts Tiffany Moore Russell, and Chief Judge Lisa Munyon to produce this public service announcement warning the public.
This is a scam.
The clerk's office will never contact you by phone or email, demanding money or personal information.
Shellberger wants others to beware of the latest evolution.
Because if I can get scammed that easy, somebody else can.
Remember, don't fall for the scheme, don't get ripped off, but if you do, email me at theinvestigators@wkmg.com. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
Okay, I can't tell you how many times I have forwarded Louis a text message saying, is this real?
Yes.
Yeah. He's our
Typically
personal
it's not. They
investigator.
do not
Yeah.
text you.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with what's happening outside.
Yeah, just a couple of thunderstorms out there, guys. We are just tracking these mainly south of Kissimmee into St. Cloud. These are way closer towards Kenansville. We had a downpour around. That is fizzling out. And some lightning closer to Yeehaw Junction. Anything that does develop for the rest of the evening should stay south of Kissimmee into Rockledge. You can track these downpours and thunderstorms, and we'll likely see more of them fire back up tomorrow with the free News 6 weather out. Now, pinpointing the rest of tonight, and there we go with just a couple of thunderstorms trying to get going. You can clearly see Kissimmee and Rockledge, and then really point south is going to be your highest opportunity. You might have a late push there, the west coast sea breeze, fire a few downpours right along I-75. Here we go tomorrow morning. I think most of us start things off dry. It's once we get to the afternoon again, you see this big flare up. We're going to have a return of moisture back to central Florida. So that's 7 to 8 o'clock on your Tuesday evening, with some of that rain pushing up from south to north, and then also from east to west, as you saw there, that last gas push there of the east coast sea breeze pushing all the storms closer to I-75 late into the evening. Nice and dry now at the port. Here's a live look, Port Canaveral, Brevard County, with our Launch Credit Union camera this evening. We have air temperatures back to the upper 80s. The breeze at about 9 miles an hour under those mainly clear skies. Just those few puffy clouds out there. We're at 92 in Mount Dora, 90 in Groveland, 89 degrees in Kissimmee. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Rain chances getting back up there to 60% tomorrow afternoon. We're at 93 degrees in Bushnell, 91 in Oviedo, 87 degrees in Daytona Beach. We're at 89 in Palm Bay tomorrow. On the tropical front, Gabrielle, of course, major hurricane. There it is, just east of Bermuda. That's continuing to go up and out. The focus is going to be on these two tropical waves that are hanging out in the central Atlantic. The trailing one has the higher chance for development right now. This one should stay out to sea. It's the southern one here that's going to continue to push towards the west and is riding low towards the Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. And it's in that orange bubble. That's where development chances are are hanging tight at about 50%. Now, there's a lot of colors on this map. This is for tropical depression formation. Where you see the brighter colors, that's where the ensembles, the model, wants to have that higher opportunity for some tropical development. So you see the two waves here. There's the one going east, and then we have the one going west, and it does want to take it off. Again, there's an opportunity for this to keep going west, especially that we're going to have two systems potentially close by each other. That always complicates things a little bit. But right now, still cautiously optimistic that the other one even stays off the coast. Something we're watching closely, though, over the next week or so. Temperatures back to around 50%. I should say rain chance at 50% through Thursday. We're keeping things elevated through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the rain chance is back up to 60%, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A local theater is taking a big financial hit after it was forced to temporarily shut down.
Every weekend that we're closed, we lose about $40,000, $50,000. So It is a big economic impact.
The fire safety concerns from city inspectors and what this means for upcoming shows. That's next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
The city of Orlando has condemned a theater right in the middle of their busy show season.
Yeah, on Friday, the Renaissance Theater Company got a notice to vacate. The theater company says it will lose out on tens of thousands of dollars every weekend it's not open. News 6's Emily McLeod spoke to the co-founder to learn what they're going to do next.
The Renaissance Theater Company co-founder Donald Roop addressing the bright neon signs that say condemned on the front of the Ren Theater.
It looks like it's like The building is about to fall down. The building is fine.
Roop tells me it was part of their annual inspection with the city.
They've come every year for 4 years. We've never had any major issues, but this year they came and they found a few things that they'd like us to change about our temporary set.
Roop says the temporary sets are used for their immersive shows where the audience walks around with the actors.
Can you share what those changes are that they would like for you all to make?
It's things like making sure when you have set pieces, making sure all of the set pieces are fire treated, making sure everything is sturdy and safe for everybody. It's very fixable, very surmountable things that we're excited to work with the city to repair.
Roop says they did have shows planned for this weekend that they had to cancel. On Saturday, the Wren posting this announcement on social media, which says in part, when you are doing new, innovative work like we are, it takes some time to learn how that work fits into traditional infrastructure, and we're excited to take that journey with the city. But while they're temporarily closed, Roop says it's still a big hit financially.
Every weekend that we're closed, we lose about $40,000, $50,000, so it is a big economic impact.
As far as the timeline for reopening goes,
we work very fast here at the Wren, and if they approve our permit to edit the set, we would get that done very quickly.
In Orlando, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Now, Emily reached out to the city about why the building was condemned. Today, leaders got back to us. They said it's because of life safety concerns stemming from construction work that has been completed without required permits, including the unapproved addition of a second floor. They say the site has several life safety hazards, including electrical issues, lack of sprinklers on fire suppression in some areas, and obstructed exits due to a maze-like layout. Now, we were also told these conditions create significant risk and hinder evacuation routes in the event of an emergency. Orlando is working with the business to address and correct the violations. The building will remain condemned until all code and safety issues are resolved. Well, just about everything appears to be going up in price.
That includes gas, depending on where you go.
Filling up your tank could get more expensive here in Lake County. We'll tell you what's on the table for a proposed gas tax increase and when you can have your voice heard.
I'm Catherine Silver in Sanford, a city that is known for its waterfront, and yet the damage to this marina still hasn't been fixed since Hurricane Ian. We're following the decision that could finally give people the progress they've been waiting for.
Welcome back. We're following several top stories right now.
The investigation into the death of a man who died after riding the Stardust Racers roller coaster at Epic Universe is criminal in nature. News 6 requested information from Kevin Zavala's autopsy, but the medical examiner's office told us the sheriff's office had claimed an exemption for releasing reports, citing a, quote, active criminal investigation. In the email from the ME's office, a sergeant cites a statute that relates to manslaughter of a disabled adult. One of the women charged in a deadly dog attack in DeLand had her case heard in court today. Amanda Franco is charged in the January killing of 8-year-old Michael Millett. She is one of 2 dog owners facing charges. Both women will return to court at the end of October. This morning, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier announced a new portal for reporting political threats across the state. It comes following the death of Charlie Kirk. The state education commissioner also says reports of inappropriate online comments will be investigated and teachers could lose their license.
Lake County may become the latest to increase its gas tax. Right now, the county gas tax sits at 7 cents, but commissioners are considering a bump up to 12 cents a gallon. The proposed increase could generate millions for the county to go toward road repairs and maintenance. Your Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod tells us what needs to happen in order for the proposal to pass.
Filling up your car could get more expensive here in Lake County. Commissioners are set to bring up a proposed gas tax for the second time during Tuesday's county commission meeting, and there are people on both sides of this issue.
That would be an added, stress on our living.
Well, we need good road improvement, that's for sure.
According to the county's website, the proposed 5-cent gas tax increase from 7 cents to 12 cents would generate $7 million annually, which would go toward road resurfacing. Jay Bellinger supports the money going toward road improvements, but as a full-time delivery driver, he's concerned the increase would impact his bottom line.
I normally do fill up 2 or 3 times during the week. I would essentially believe with that increase it'd be a lot more. So that's, again, more stress on what's happening.
The Office of Economic and Demographic Research shows Marion, Seminole, Osceola, and Volusia also have a 12-cent gas tax. We spoke with Gary Knox while he was filling up on Monday morning. He says the roads are not maintained as much as he thinks they should be and supports the 5-cent increase.
They're patched here, and then when it rains a lot, then you got potholes. I think that's all over, but it's sure here in Lake County.
Tuesday's vote will require a supermajority vote, meaning the commission must vote in favor of the proposed gas tax increase 4-1. If that does not happen, commissioners can either move forward with making this item a referendum on a ballot, or they can end the process altogether without pursuing it any further. I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
And as it stands right now, Volusia, Marion, and Osceola counties already have their gas tax at 12 cents. Seminole recently joined them. And just like Lake County, increasing the gas tax remains under discussion in Brevard County. Orange, Sumter, and Flagler counties remain at the lower end of the gas tax.
School leaders say too many drivers are ignoring the law, speeding past school buses and putting students at risk. Tonight at 6, the Lake County School Board will vote on a new plan to use cameras to catch violators. Your other Lake County community correspondent, Mark Lehman, explains how it would work.
After today's vote, it will take several months to install the cameras on these school buses and get everything up and running. The district says the goal is to launch this program by the beginning of the next school year. They say all of this is to improve safety.
As Lake County school buses are hitting the streets, the district is set to move forward with a plan to cut down on drivers illegally passing stop school buses.
We're wanting to change behavior. We're not, that's our goal.
Transportation Director Scott Fender says for the past year he's been working on a plan to outfit buses with cameras. Today the school board is voting to approve the company that will install and run the system that will fine drivers $225 per violation.
Because it'll take snapshots. There'll be front-facing cameras, rear-facing cameras, cameras on the passenger side as well.
The footage will be reviewed by law enforcement before the fine is issued. Fender says in just one day this school year, Lake County documented 215 drivers going past stop buses.
That seems like a lot. It is, and carry that out 215 by 180 school days. It's a significant number of violations.
Today's vote is also happening less than a week after Brevard County launched its school bus camera program. That's still at least 6 to 8 months away for Lake County, but the goal for both is the same.
We're doing this to protect the kids. That's the bottom line.
The district says an agreement still needs to be worked out with law enforcement to review the citations before they're sent out. Today, the school board will be voting to approve American Traffic Solutions as the company behind the cameras during this meeting at 6 tonight. I'm your Lake County community correspondent Mark Lehman, News 6.
Today, Volusia County teachers moved into their new classrooms at a rebuilt elementary school in DeLand. The new Edith Stark Elementary is ushering in a new era for a school that was first built back in 1956. Funded in part by the half-cent sales tax, the rebuilt campus features a media center, new administrative offices, art and music classrooms, and safer pickup and drop-off areas. The school can now serve 650 students, and it's home to the district's first STEM Plus Arts Magnet program. People who live in the area tell us they are happy to see the new school.
I think it's great for the kids. It's a great community.
The world's always changing. There's always new inventions, so stay in school.
Students will get their first day inside the building tomorrow.
Well, it looks like the city of Sanford is finally moving forward with plans to restore the marina following Hurricane Ian in 2022. The city commission is poised to give their approval for work to begin despite FEMA agreeing to pay a fraction of the cost. Your Sanford community correspondent, Catherine Silver, has been following the efforts to rebuild. She joins us live outside City Hall now. And Catherine, people have really been waiting for this.
Yes, and in just a few short hours, they may finally get the progress they have been asking for. At tonight's meeting here at City Hall, the commission is expected to approve a contract to start the repairs. This week marks 3 years since Hurricane Ian flooded Sanford's Riverwalk. 3 years later, and there are still scars, signs of what work still needs to be done. You can see where the storm damaged docks and destroyed pilings, and there's more you can't see beneath the surface. There's so much silt here, the entire marina needs to be dredged.
We've got to get this fixed and get going.
We spoke with Sanford's mayor before a meeting Monday where the commission is expected to approve a contract to start design work and permitting. Why is now the time the city's decided, let's just go ahead and get started on these repairs?
We were getting sort of tired of waiting, so I was ready to move ahead and just have the city pay for it and be done with it. But at about that same time, FEMA agreed to the first, I think, $6.4 million for the silt removal.
The rest of the damage the city will have to pay for out of the general fund while they appeal the federal agency's decision. The total cost to fix all of this is about $20 million. To put that in perspective, it's more than the city's operating budget for public works and recreation combined. It's also more than the entire fire department's operating budget.
Yeah, there'll be taxpayer money all the way. FEMA's not going to help.
Voters we spoke to Monday say they're ready for the repairs.
It's about time.
They'll still be waiting for work to begin. The mayor expects it could be a year before we actually see change along the waterfront.
We've all been frustrated, and we have continually been working with FEMA to try to get this through. It's a key part of our downtown. It's a huge economic driver. It's a recreational driver. We've been working towards this. It's the storm.
Appealing to FEMA is also a lengthy process. The mayor tells me that could take a year as well, but the city is still planning to see if there's any more money they could get reimbursed. In Sanford, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. Just a few more hours left to apply for a permit to participate in Florida's first bear hunt in a decade. The deadline is at 11:59 tonight. The hunt has sparked months of controversy. Florida's Fish and Wildlife Commission unanimously approved a 23-day hunt for December. 187 bears are allowed in that time frame. And here in Central Florida, 18 permits will be handed out. The commission says you can apply as many times as you'd like. You just have to pay the $5 fee each time. Selection is random. News 6's Catherine Silver spoke to an avid hunter about it. She also spoke to people who are against the hunt. They say they will also be applying for those permits, and if they get one, they will not be using it.
We have never seen a game species decline after it's been adopted as a game species. We've only seen them flourish. And there's no reason for us to expect that it's going to be any different for the Florida black bear.
We are trying to get people to enter the lottery. This is our last resort, and we're going to use every effort to save as many bears as possible.
Submit applications for the regulated bear hunting season until 11:59 tonight. Details on how to apply for a permit can be found in this story on clickorlando.com.
A big announcement out of UCF today. The university has reached the state's preeminent research designation. So UCF President Alexander Cartwright shared the news at the Board of Trustees meeting, calling it part of their Unleashing Potential strategic plan with bold goals. One key milestone was hitting almost 64% on the 4-year graduation rate, surpassing the 60% minimum required. President Cartwright says the metrics have to be verified by the Board of Governors before the UCF's Board of Trustees can approve it in April. After that, UCF will officially be designated as a preeminent research university. Well, you can expect to see more murals popping up in one Central Florida community.
But with the state removing murals off the streets, one person asked if this is allowed on buildings in high traffic areas. We're getting some answers next.
It's going to be a quiet night in Central Florida for the most part. Storm chances go up tomorrow. We're also watching the tropics bubbling a little bit from over the weekend. We're going to pinpoint that coming up at about 4:47.
And before we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our prime time schedule on News 6 Plus. Join us at 9, where Matt and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. Then go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions at 9:30 with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Orlando's south of downtown neighborhood is getting new murals thanks to a new federal grant.
And the question we've been asked is, how is this not a distraction to drivers, and if it's legal? Your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, went to get answers.
Large swans, oranges, and water lilies have popped up around South downtown Orlando over the last week. 3 large wall murals are being painted because of a federal grant which has been given to 6 Main Street districts across Orlando.
SODO has made the decision to do 3 large focal murals, as well as improving our banners in the district to give some visual lift to the area.
The murals are in high traffic areas within SODO, so we've asked, is this distracting to drivers? The murals come at a time when the Florida Department of Transportation has been covering up colorful crosswalks across Central Florida, including the orange and green crosswalks in SODO. But Misty Heath, the executive director for SODO Main Street District, says this has no correlation.
This was a grant that was bid in 2021. It has nothing, it really isn't connected to that.
FDOT is covering these colorful crosswalks, citing distracted driving. But Misty insists that the wall art is not distracting and referred me to a Bloomberg study done in 2022 that showed art actually decreasing the number of crashes caused by distracted driving. The grant gives up to $100,000 to SODO, and the district gets to collaborate with local artists, residents, and private businesses.
I think the call to private property owners is going to be even stronger now, that if they want to see beautified spaces, then it's going to be up to them and community partners to make it happen for the time being.
At 1400 South Orange Avenue, you'll see huge water lilies, which is in partnership with Orlando Health. At the cross-section of Cayley and Division, you'll see big swans and oranges, which are meant to reflect the icons that Orlando is known for. And at 315 West Grant Street, you'll see shades of orange across the buildings. With all 3 murals set to be completed by the end of this month, SODO hopes that these improvements are just the beginning.
We hope it will be a catalyst for more improvements like this.
In Orange County, your community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, who's standing by, tracking what we have happening outside right now, also keeping a close eye on the tropics for us. Jonathan.
That's right. And the good news is locally, there's not much happening. We could use some of the rain across parts of Central Florida, and I do think that goes up big time. A couple of downpours hanging around Kenansville are fizzling out tonight. We're losing the lightning that was associated with that as well. So a nice clean sweep. Any storm that gets going tonight should be south of us in Kissimmee to St. Cloud. You can track those with the free News 6 weather app. That's going to come in handy tomorrow, as I am expecting the return of widespread thunderstorms. So here we go, 5, 6 o'clock tonight. I think Future Radar has it right on the money here. Also along the I-75 corridor, that's a late return of the East Coast sea breeze. It's another factor of, again, not having as much moisture in the mid-levels of our atmosphere. That changes tomorrow. Watch this as we move into the 8, 9 o'clock hour tomorrow. I think we're still good. We're still on the drier side. And then we start to bubble up those thunderstorms once again. And we really see an eruption here of widespread storms as we get towards the evening. They're 6 to 7 o'clock, especially to the west of us on I-95, and then right smack dab through the I-4 corridor, and then pushing back from east to west. So an East Coast sea breeze dominant day. So we'll see things go from east to west tomorrow. That's 11 o'clock. May still have a few light lingering showers around. Here's a live look in Daytona Beach. Surf a little rough out there. Red flags are flying. Temperatures now into the mid-80s. The breeze out of the northeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's what's keeping the rip currents elevated along the coast. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
Temperatures tomorrow get back to the lower 90s, especially the further west you are of I-4. We're at 91 in Orlando, 93 in Wildwood. Rain chances back up to 60% tomorrow afternoon. On to the tropics, we have Hurricane Gabrielle. Now a Category 4 storm. This one is passing safely to the east of Bermuda, thankfully. Then we turn our attention to these 2 tropical waves kind of trailing Gabrielle. The orange, that gives a 50% shot here. The lower wave for tropical development. Higher opportunity for development as designated by the Hurricane Center is the one behind it here. The red one should eventually turn. It's going to be the orange one we're going to keep a close eye on. Now there's a lot going on in this map, but there's a method in my madness here that I want to show you. It's going to be the steering currents when it comes to these 2 tropical waves. And this big hodgepodge here of color, that's tropical wave number 1, and then there's tropical wave number 2. Now, when I put this into motion, you're going to see one of them, and that's actually the model is showing that the first wave has a better opportunity to develop. You see it kind of lifting up towards the Turks and Caicos. There it is there. Now, the one main steering feature that we're going to be watching here, you see the blue colors here? This is a big dip in the jet stream hanging off the southeast corner of the United States. This will tend to kind of push it out, but you'll see we're going to start to get it to cut off a little bit. And if that happens, it may have a tendency to try to nudge it closer to the United States. So a lot to iron out here. There's going to be 2 waves to track, plus a developing weather system off the southeast corner of the United States. We get it covered. Again, just something that we are watching at this moment. 40% shot for a downpour or 2 as we get into Wednesday, 30% chance as we get into the early stages of next week, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Happening right now, President Trump is making an announcement about autism. You can listen to the press conference on clickorlando.com, and we'll have updates here on News 6.
Are you considering getting fresh eggs from your own backyard?
It's certainly something that's growing in popularity across Central Florida. Coming up, the latest city set to discuss the rules for backyard chickens.
Coming up in the morning, the rising cost of the rail.
As Sunrail operations shift to cities and counties, the price tag is growing.
How much one county is about to pay for the commuter rail service.
And we are tracking some afternoon showers and some very unfall-like weather.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
You may start to hear more chickens in your neighborhood.
Yeah, the talk of backyard chickens is back on the agenda in Sanford. In just a few hours, the City Commission is expected to vote on revising rules for them. Currently, chickens can't be kept within 150 feet of any home, apartment, or garage apartment unless the property is far enough away from neighbors. Then they're allowed within 25 feet. This is the first reading for the new rules. It would allow chickens in residential areas designed for single-family homes. Tonight's meeting starts at 7.
In Brevard County, we told you how a local city decided to allow people to keep more chickens in their backyard. Earlier this month, Palm Bay City Council voted to increase the number of chickens that people are allowed to have from 4 to 6. The original proposal in April asked for 8, but the city settled on 6. At the time, 3 people spoke during public comment. 2 of them were for the chickens, while 1 was against it.
When you have 6 and you have roosters there and they become noisy, and everybody has a right to some peace and quiet. So how do you monitor a quality of life? I mean, got a bunch of chickens, I think, not only in our neighborhood, but right across Tillman Canal. How do you monitor respecting somebody's quality of life, too?
Backyard chickens have grown in popularity throughout Central Florida, and many cities have updated their rules.
All right, during the week, you can usually check out Trooper Steve cruising around town in Results One, but this weekend, you can catch him on a tandem bike at Cranes Roost Park in Altamont Springs. He'll ride with Shonda Ray from XL 106.7. It's all part of the Red Bull Tandem Roller Coaster competition, where 30 teams will be competing.
And while the goal is to finish the obstacle course without falling in, those who do not make it to the end still have the chance to win the People's Choice Award. So this is where Steve and Sandra Ray need your help. Head to clickorlando.com and click the link in this story. It will take you to the voting page. And the name of their tandem bike is The Complaint Line. You can click the picture and hit choose. Voting closes Thursday at midnight. Who came up with that name? I feel like it should be What the Honk.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's,
whatever. They didn't ask me.
It sounds like they don't think they're going to make it, which is why they need a popularity contest. News 6 at 5 is next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
0% chance they make it down that whole thing. Well, some local business owners are feeling the pinch from U.S. tariffs. Ahead at 5, we're going to take you to a ballet studio in Kissimmee where a mom and daughter say they're having a hard time getting the shoes they need from Russia. Plus, new developments in a July shooting that injured a 3-year-old boy in Mims, what 911 calls reveal. Coming up. And your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this one at Daytona Beach for free anytime. We'll be right back.
Hello. Mic check 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
Virtually no autism.
He's going down fast. If you can, hurry up.
Now at 5, a 3-year-old accidentally shot in Mims. Months later, 911 calls are released.
Coming up, what we're learning tonight about the criminal investigation into the death of a guest at Epic Universe last week.
Plus, a key hearing in the deadly DeLand dog attack case. Lawyers for one of the women charged speaks to a judge. A breakdown of what happened in court. You're watching News 6 at 5. We have breaking news on 2 cases, both involved the shooting of a child. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Tonight, newly released 911 calls reveal the commotion inside a Mims home after a toddler was shot. We've also uncovered what led up to the shooting. News 6's community correspondent Troy Campbell is live in the newsroom with these breaking details. Troy.
Yeah, in that 911 call, we hear the emotional plea for first responders to hurry up, saying that 3-year-old had been shot in the arm. We're also learning the details of just how that gun went off.
What's going on there?
There's a gun in my room. Picked it up and it went off.
Okay, was somebody shot?
Yes.
Okay, who was shot?
Baby. His name Gunner.
How old is the baby?
I don't know. Yeah, he's like 3. Please,
3 years old? Okay, is he breathing?
Yes, it was in the arm.
The Brevard County Sheriff's Office says the shooting took place just after noon, back on July 7th, at a home on the 4000 block of Arancha Road in Mims. In the newly released report and 911 call, we learn a 14-year-old resident of the home had been using a rifle for target practice the day before. Investigators say the 14-year-old left the rifle loaded when he stored it in a case. The next day, he says the 3-year-old was playing with a toy gun, which reminded him to unload the rifle he stored the day prior. Witnesses say the 14-year-old went to unload the rifle when his hand slipped, hitting the trigger. That's when the 3-year-old was shot in the arm.
Hello?
Hey, boy. Come on, hurry, Gunner.
Hello?
Hey, boy, you don't go out. Gunner?
Hello?
Over here.
Hello, I need somebody to pick up the phone.
In the 911 call, we hear the frantic commotion inside the home in the moments after.
The baby awake and breathing.
All right, he's going down fast. If you can, hurry up.
Okay, he got shot in the arm?
And no one has been charged in the shooting. Also, the 3-year-old is expected to make a full recovery. Live in the newsroom, Troy Campbell, News 6. Lisa.
Troy, thank you. Also breaking at 5, an arrest after a 4-year-old boy was shot in the chest in Orange County. The child was caught in the crossfire of a shootout involving his own family. Ray Rodriguez Campos is facing charges, including attempted manslaughter and aggravated assault. According to his arrest report, he is the boyfriend of the child's mother. The shooting happened in front of a home on Vine Street near Apopka in August. The child's biological father confronted him. Investigators say that's when Rodriguez Campos pulled out a gun and started shooting. The boy's brother shot back. The boy is receiving treatment at Arnold Palmer Hospital.
Well, new tonight, News 6 has reviewed information that suggests the Orange County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a guest at Epic Universe as a possible manslaughter. Our Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now live outside Universal. Mike, you reached out to Universal to ask what they know about this criminal investigation into Kevin Zavala's death.
Yeah, Matt, and the response we got from Universal is, well, you got to talk to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. But that agency isn't saying much either. But we did learn some new notable information about this case after reviewing an email from last Friday. In an email, a sergeant with the sheriff's office advised the medical examiner's office that his agency was claiming an exemption to release reports about Kevin Rodriguez Zavala's death, citing, quote, active criminal investigative information. As of now, the sergeant wrote, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is actively conducting an investigation into the death of the decedent under Florida State Statute 782.07. That statute relates to manslaughter, including aggravated manslaughter of an elderly person or disabled adult. An incident report from the sheriff's office revealed last week that Zavala had a pre-existing spinal injury. Universal Orlando's safety guide notes that Stardust Racers, which Zavala rode, is not recommended for guests with back, neck, or similar physical conditions. And while the investigation is open, Stardust Racers remains closed, though the president and COO of Universal Orlando Resort stressed in an email to staff that internal findings confirmed that the ride systems functioned as intended that night. Equipment was intact at the ride start, throughout the duration of the ride, and upon the ride, vehicles returned to the station, and team members followed procedures. State investigators tell News 6 that the Department of Agriculture's current findings align with Universal's. Quote, after monitoring the same tests and reviewing the same information. Meanwhile, that GoFundMe established in Zavala's memory has beat its goal of raising $8,000. As we're speaking right now, it's now surpassed $26,500, and it continues to climb. That GoFundMe page describes Kevin Rodriguez Zavala as a source of laughter, guidance, and unconditional love. Of course, as we learn any more information about this evolving investigation that a lot of people are paying attention to, we'll bring you the latest on air and online on ClickOrlando.com. For now, we're live outside Universal. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Mike, thank you. And as Mike just mentioned, Universal Orlando's safety guide notes that Stardust Racers is not recommended for guests with back, neck, or similar physical conditions. So here is a photo of a Stardust Racers test seat. Test seats are in secluded areas at all attraction queues to allow for more privacy and are equipped with a green red light system to indicate whether guests meet the safety requirements in the seat.
Taking a live look at downtown Orlando. This is our Light Orlando camera out there. You can see it sort of looks like the Simpsons sky.
It really does. We want to get over to meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, tracking just a few rainy spots right now for us.
Yeah, just a couple of rainy spots out there. Most of us are dry tonight. On the tropical front, though, we have two tropical waves to talk about. A little close to home, especially this orange drawing here over the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. That is for the first wave out ahead of it just east of the Caribbean right now. Trailing wave has the higher opportunity for development as both of these move west. This one should remain safely out to sea. Degree of difficulty in forecasting this one because the two of these systems are likely going to interact with one another, helping to change the trajectory of these systems as they continue to work down the road. Also want to show you this. Again, this has no impact on anybody, at least directly, but this is now Category 4 Hurricane Gabrielle. We talked last week and it was barely a tropical storm. It found the conditions that it liked once it got out of that main development region that's been hostile all season. Now it's continuing to lift north and east, but a very large hurricane and a very strong one as well. Much quieter, closer to home though. The few downpours that we had hanging around Kenansville and Yeehaw Junction tonight, those have fizzled out. Our rain chances tomorrow go way up tomorrow. We are pinpointing the timeline on that for you at about 5:17.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, for the first time, one of the women charged in the deadly dog attack in DeLand arrived in court. Amanda Franco is charged in the January killing of 8-year-old Michael Millett. She is one of 2 dog owners facing charges.
Our Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court today where the judge talked about possible resolutions in this case.
The judge here today asked to be kept informed about any possible resolution. But Michael and West's family, they were in court today and we talked to them after. They say they want to see the max punishment. They do not want to see any plea deals in this case. Now, Amanda Franco and Brandy Hodel both waived their personal appearance here in court, but both of their defense attorneys were here to talk about their case with the judge.
The cases were both continued, with defense attorneys saying they need more time after getting new evidence from the state. Back in January, deputies say 8-year-old Millett was riding his bike in his DeLand area neighborhood when he was attacked and killed by 2 dogs that got loose from a nearby home. Both dogs were euthanized. Deputies say both Frankel and Brandy Hodel also tried to cover up evidence of prior issues with the dogs. Investigators say Franco deleted her Facebook account. Hodel erased messages, but neighbors gave detectives screenshots showing a history of the dogs getting loose and attacking other animals.
And part of the evidence or documents one of the defense attorneys say they want more time with is a witness list. Both women are scheduled to be back here in court at the end of October. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
A trial starts this week for a man deputies say burned and dismembered a woman he was dating in a well-known, undeveloped part of Brevard County where a total of 4 people were killed within just a year.
Palm Bay community correspondent James Barbero is at the courthouse.
The state attorney's office tells me that jury selection could start Wednesday in the trial of Daniel Stearns. 2 years ago, sheriff's deputies say Stearns shot 44-year-old Nancy Howery and then burned and dismembered her body in the compound.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
When he was arrested, Howery's friend Yasker Atam told me a lot more about Stearns and Howery's relationship. She said they were dating and had an argument over Stearns not making special plans for Valentine's Day. The next day, Howery was reported missing when she didn't pick up her kids from school.
I wish he wake every single morning and think, I never will marry. I never will raise kids. That's what I want.
Between 2022 and 2023, 2 more stories about people killed in the compound sparked an ongoing conversation about developing the blighted land. Unlike Stearns, 2 young men, including 20-year-old Jamarcus Simpson, are still waiting for their trials for the murders of 16-year-old TJ Anthony and 14-year-old Jeremiah Brown.
I wish there was anything that I could have done differently.
Meantime, there was a resolution to who police say killed Nick Mitchell and stole his car. Last year, Renee Lemos and her boyfriend Robert Lanning were each sent to prison for 18 years. Stearns was charged with second-degree murder and faces a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted. In Brevard County, I'm your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Well, Lake County proposes a 5-cent gas tax to fund $7 million in road repairs.
How this would affect drivers, that's coming up. Plus, a Kissimmee dance studio struggles with soaring prices and supply cuts on ballet shoes. How one family's studio is fighting to keep dance affordable.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
Some local small business owners are having a hard time dealing with tariffs on supplies they buy from overseas.
A mother-daughter-owned business in Kissimmee says they're having trouble getting ballet slippers and pointe shoes from Russia. News 6's Osceola County community correspondent Laverne McGee has their story.
Jacqueline Doherty started taking ballet lessons at the age of 3 and now owns her own dance and music studio with her mother. In the heart of downtown Kissimmee, they teach piano, violin, and ballet. They say they try to sell her students the best ballet slippers and pointe shoes they can find.
I get these ones from Russia. I actually like the way that they are made from there.
They cost about $180, and Jacqueline says the prices keep going up due to higher tariffs. Her mother, Joni, says they can't even order them now from the company they've been using for over 10 years.
Saying that due to the tariffs, they're no longer shipping to the United States.
They say the constant changes in higher U.S. tariffs are putting a financial strain on them. And some parents can no longer afford to take lessons with the rising costs. They order supplies from places like the United Kingdom, Japan, and Russia.
I've seen violin prices go up. I've seen pointe shoes prices going up.
In some cases, they say they have to sign a form acknowledging they're responsible for the price after it's ordered, even if it goes up because of a change in the tariff amount.
I don't know if it's like a $5 extra fee or a $50 extra fee.
Joni says she tries to work with parents on prices, but says she's not sure how long they can sustain their costs continually fluctuating. But their love of ballet and music keeps them going despite financial uncertainty. I'm your Osceola County Community Correspondent Laverne McGee, News 6.
Okay, some interesting things going on in the weather department these days. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas taking you through our day and whatever is out there in the tropics.
That's right, yeah. So far, no immediate threats to Florida and the tropical front. We're going to get to that part in just a minute. I want to talk about the increasing rain chances first. So we're going to impact maybe your commute home tomorrow from work. And right now, we are watching some thunderstorms develop way south of Central Florida. We had a couple of downpours earlier. Those have fizzled out. You can track the updated forecast with the free News 6 weather app. And tomorrow, you'll likely need it to track some storms. You get lightning detection and all those bells and whistles for free by downloading the free News 6 weather app. All of this moisture that you see kind of developing north of Cuba back towards the Florida Straits and then in South Florida, that is lifting to the north. And by tomorrow, we're going to start to tap into that. So this brighter green that you see here going through Tuesday and into Wednesday, that's the atmospheric moisture. So on the scale here, the brighter the green, and as it turns to white, that's that return of the tropical moisture that if we kind of took a break from over the weekend to lower those rain chances. We'll see that surge through not only earlier in the work week, but then also as we move into the weekend. That'll help to keep rain chances at least elevated again after we've taken a short break. Pinpointed that for you and showing you how that's going to impact the rest of your day. There's 7 o'clock. And again, anything that develops tonight should stay south of Kissimmee and then along the I-75 corridor. It's tomorrow that we start to see things really begin to light up again. There's 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think we're looking pretty good. Most of us should be on the dry side. Once we get into the afternoon, that's when we'll look for things to start bubbling back up. So there we go at 4 o'clock with scattered showers and thunderstorms. And then you see the flare up as we move towards the second part of your evening, right around dinner time and then beyond. Even by 10, 11 o'clock, there still could be a couple of showers lingering late. So more of a traditional summertime feel than fall as we have officially welcomed fall today. Here's a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Sky Cam tonight. Temperatures back to the upper 80s right now. The breeze, it's out of the east-northeast at about 11 miles an hour this evening. We'll keep that breeze elevated out of the northeast over the next day or so. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
Rain chances tomorrow at 60%. You saw that there on future radar. Temperatures back to the low to mid 90s along the I-75 corridor. Back to the upper 80s along the I-95 corridor. Good evening in Oak Hill and Wedgefield. Tomorrow, we're back into the 80s by lunchtime, 88 degrees by 2 o'clock. And then we're going to see the afternoon thunderstorms really try to erupt after that. Again, today, the first day of fall. You may have noticed it's getting a little dark on the earlier side of things, and we're going to continue, obviously, to shave that off. Of course, clocks go back an hour on November 2nd, still a ways away from that, but that's going to put our sunset time at 5:39 in the evening, 5:28 by Thanksgiving, and that sunset by Christmas is at 5:35. The positive note is it does get brighter earlier on the side after that time change. Again, it's been on the darker side if you do like to get up and run on the early side of things. 2 tropical waves we are tracking in addition to major Hurricane Gabrielle. Again, Gabrielle is a non-issue. That's going up and out. Watching these 2 waves, still cautiously optimistic that both of these will turn before Florida, but watching closely, especially that further south one that's on the map, the orange shaded color. We're going to talk much more about that one coming up in about 45 minutes. Next few days, rain chances on the elevated side, 50% chance for more storms on Thursday, same deal on Friday, back up to 60% to start your weekend, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Gas prices jumped 25 cents in 4 days last week.
What experts are saying about the gas price trend in Florida. Plus, in just days, dozens of teams kids will pedal with style on the Red Bull Tandem roller coaster. Trooper Steve is among the competitors. He and his partner need your help. We'll explain next.
Your Monday evening traffic alert. You're going to see those lane closures east and westbound along I-4 between the attractions area, starting predominantly over by Florida Turnpike down towards State Road 528. Stuff we've always seen. Same thing down here on the Florida Turnpike on the south end in Osceola County. No hard scheduled shutdown, but we will see in and out lane closures. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
Here's a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
From highways to side streets, Trooper Steve on patrol is often checking out roads that many of us drive every day.
So today, Steve takes us to Oak Ridge Road in Orange County to show us how construction and pedestrian activity are shaping the area.
Oak Ridge Road is a 5-mile stretch of roadway that runs east and westbound, predominantly residential, okay? But I like to call it a transient road. And not by identifying an individual, but by identifying the action. So many people use Oak Ridge to maybe get over here to Mall of Millennia or the outlets, things like that, or over to the east side to get to areas like Belle Isle, things like that, or the Conway area. But between those two predominant zones, you have schools, you have a lot of residential areas. And our stream happens at 10 o'clock every day. But this morning I was driving through, took some video, and I wanted to show it to you guys because it was pretty busy. So what you're looking at here is video taken at about 9:15, between 9:15 and 9:20. and there's a school located on the south shoulder out there. So I'm traveling in the right travel lane. I'm going to move over to that left lane at some point just because I wanted to get a better visual of what's going on. But what do you see out here? On Oak Ridge Road, flashing school zone, and they have one of a few full control pedestrian crossings. What do I mean by full control? It is an actual traffic light. So it doesn't just flash yellow when a pedestrian's crossing, but when they activate it, it will turn to red, and then you can see there, it turned to green.
You can watch Trooper Steve's full ride along in this web story on clickorlando.com/Trooper Steve on patrol. Hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekday mornings at 10 live on News 6 Plus, your streaming app for your smart TV, or clickorlando.com.
On Saturday, Trooper Steve is stepping out of Results One to hop on a tandem bike at Cranes Roost Park in Altamont Springs. He'll ride with Sandra Ray from XL 106.7. 30 teams will compete in the Red Bull Tandem Roller Coaster Competition. Event details are on clickorlando.com. Now, while the goal is, of course, to finish the obstacle course without falling, those who do not make it to the end still have the chance to win the People's Choice Award. And this is where Steve and Sandra Ray likely need your help. So go to Click Orlando.
It's their only chance of winning this thing.
Go to Click. I'm trying to be optimistic here. Go to clickorlando.com. Click the link in this story. It will take you to the voting page. The name of their tandem bike is, quote, the Complaint Line. You can click the picture and hit choose. Voting closes Thursday at midnight.
All right, still to come, a gas tax decision that could cost drivers more.
In minutes, the reason for the potential hike and the vote set to take place in just hours. And Florida's Attorney General unveils a new portal to report threats of violence, how this tool could stop dangerous plans before they happen. That's coming up as we take a live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We are following several top stories right now. We have some new details in the shooting of a 3-year-old at a home in Mims.
The shooting happened in July. A new report says a 14-year-old resident of the home had been using a rifle for target practice that day. Investigators say the teen left the rifle loaded when he stored it in a case. He later went to unload the rifle when his hand slipped, hitting the trigger, hurting the toddler. No one has been charged with that shooting. The child was last reported in stable condition.
Well, the family of a man who died after riding a roller coaster at Epic Universe has hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump. In a statement, he says the family is seeking full transparency, including the release of maintenance logs, inspection records, ride data, and video footage to understand the circumstances surrounding Kevin Zavala's death. One of the women charged in a deadly dog attack in DeLand had her case heard in court today. Amanda Franco was charged in the January killing of 8-year-old Michael Millett. She's one of 2 dog owners facing charges. Both women will return to court at the end of October.
Tonight, flagging threats before something happens. Florida's Attorney General was in Orlando this morning to launch a new system to try to stop political violence. News 6's Mark Lehman explains how it would work.
Florida's Attorney General meeting here at Valencia College's West Campus, where he announced a new tool to report threats of violence. It's something he says is important for protecting lives and protecting the rule of law.
It's important for us to come out and protect a free market of ideas.
Attorney General James Othmeyer says the state is launching a resource in response to what he says is a nationwide escalation of political violence. Less than 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Florida has opened a combat violent extremism portal.
But there's a big difference when it comes to a threat of violence, a call for violence. That is not protected by the First Amendment.
Othmeyer says the goal is for people to report any planning or threats of violence. Through the portal, someone can upload video, images, and text messages.
It'll allow us to work with law enforcement to get the appropriate evidence that we need immediately.
Meanwhile, Florida's education commissioner says he's also been investigating teachers who have posted messages celebrating Kirk's assassination. His office is pursuing charges against a teacher in Clay County for her comments, which he says encourages violence.
Let me be clear, this is completely unacceptable and it will not be tolerated. As these posts continue to circulate, more and more students are exposed to the dangerous and false idea that violence is an acceptable response to differing beliefs.
Florida's education commissioner said there are teachers here in Central Florida who they are looking into after making posts following the Charlie Kirk assassination. He would not, however, go into specifics of those, citing an ongoing investigation. For now, reporting in Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Last week, Florida drivers experienced a noticeable uptick in gas prices. Gas prices jumped 25 cents in just 4 days, pushing the state average to $3.20 a gallon. Prices have since settled back to $3.12. AAA says this kind of price swing has become routine, with Florida gas prices bouncing between $2.92 and $3.23 since September of last year. Meantime, gas in Lake County could soon cost you some more. Right now, the county's gas tax sits at 7 cents, but commissioners are considering a bump up to 12 cents per gallon. The proposed increase could generate millions for the county to go toward road repairs and maintenance. Our Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod tells us what needs to happen in order for that proposal to pass.
Filling up your car could get more expensive here in Lake County. Commissioners are set to bring up a proposed gas tax for the second time during Tuesday's county commission meeting, and there are people on both sides of this issue.
That would be an added, stress on our living.
Well, we need good road improvement, that's for sure.
According to the county's website, the proposed 5-cent gas tax increase from 7 cents to 12 cents would generate $7 million annually, which would go toward road resurfacing. Jay Bellinger supports the money going toward road improvements, but as a full-time delivery driver, he's concerned the increase would impact his bottom line.
I normally do fill up 2 or 3 times during the week. I would essentially believe with that increase it'd be a lot more. So that's, again, more stress on what's happening.
The Office of Economic and Demographic Research shows Marion, Seminole, Osceola, and Volusia also have a 12-cent gas tax. We spoke with Gary Knox while he was filling up on Monday morning. He says the roads are not maintained as much as he thinks they should be and supports the 5-cent increase.
They're patched here, and then when it rains a lot, then you got potholes. I think that's all over, but it's sure here in Lake County.
Tuesday's vote will require a supermajority vote, meaning the commission must vote in favor of the proposed gas tax increase 4-1. If that does not happen, commissioners can either move forward with making this item a referendum on a ballot, or they can end the process altogether without pursuing it any further. I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Well, fall has finally reached Florida, and with it comes a familiar change to our clocks. Daylight saving time is set to end on November 2nd this year, meaning you will get an extra hour of sleep. At 2 a.m., clocks will fall back 1 hour, shifting sunrise and sunset to run earlier than the day before, but not everyone wants to keep changing their clocks twice a year. Florida lawmakers have been pushing to make daylight saving time permanent. Former Governor Rick Scott signed a state law back in 2018, but it cannot take effect without Congress changing federal law. U.S. Representative Vern Buchanan reintroduced the Sunshine Protection Act in January, but so far that bill remains stalled in Congress. So we put together a poll about daylight saving time on clickorlando.com. What would you like to see when it comes to changing the clocks? You can vote in this web story right now. Well, NASA's newest astronaut class is ready to train for the moon and Mars missions.
Ahead at 5, what high-tech challenges will they face in the next 2 years?
Nice and quiet out there right now. We are going to watch storms erupt from south to north as we get into tomorrow. We're going to break down that part of the forecast and talk about the tropics. They're bubbling a little bit tonight. That's coming up at about 5:47.
Plus, homelessness in Orange County is surging, with many sleeping in the woods. Up next, the steps officials are taking to address the crisis.
Tonight, a cause for concern. It's been close to a year since the passage of the state's ban on public homeless camping.
Officials say the number of homeless is only going up. But tonight, we're also learning county leaders are planning a forum this week to use that data to tackle the problem. This comes as a volunteer organization told our West Orange County community correspondent Tylisa Hampton they're struggling to keep track of those who are experiencing homelessness.
Well, those with Samaritan Research Center tell me it's not only a challenge to locate those who are homeless, but they're also seeing a troubling trend as to who is on the streets. A gesture as simple as opening the door could provide hope to those experiencing homelessness.
I think they forgot to bring the food over.
It's here at Samaritan Resource Center. They're trying to change people's lives.
For those who are experiencing homelessness, it's a traumatic experience.
Your outreach teams are on the ground. Can you tell me, how have y'all seen the change, and then has it been a challenge?
As people are getting moved around, it gets tougher to locate them. It gets tougher to find where they went next because they don't have a choice.
In October 2024, the state banned public homeless camping. Counties like Orange County also passed an ordinance early this year to make it illegal for people to sleep or camp in public places.
What are you seeing when it comes to homelessness?
We're observing approximately 156% of an increase. Of that 156% increase, we know that about 40% are seniors and children.
Portway says the ages of youth range from 18 to 22, many looking for places to stay. And if you're wondering where some are now sleeping, District 5 Commissioner says they're going deeper into the woods.
We have to start talking about issues and coming up with solutions to solve them, and it's got to start with our housing inventory.
They both say the biggest reason why it's important to find those who are homeless is to provide resources that could eventually lead to stability. But even that takes work. District 5 Commissioner says they're beginning that discussion over the state of homelessness as early as this Thursday during a discussion forum. And for more details on that, you can go to our website. Reporting in Orange County, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Time now to check in with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. He has a look at a quiet radar tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to look a little different about 24 hours from now. We're going to return, see some of that tropical moisture kind of surge back up and give us a better opportunity for thunderstorms. Again, we did have a couple of downpours for us around Kenansville, Yeehaw Junction. Those have since come back down. We'll be watching mainly south of Kissimmee and then along I-75 for a stray downpour or two to bubble back up this evening. Pinpointing that for you. There we go through the evening, and that's that little flare up again. That's late tonight, 8, 9 o'clock. So I'll be watching that for you guys, especially west of Orlando. And then tomorrow, I think it's going to be on the more widespread scale. So watch what happens. Here we go, 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow. I think we start things off nice and dry. Should be a pretty good morning. You'll notice the humidity a little bit more on the rich side again tomorrow. There's 2 to 3 o'clock, and you can follow again with the forecast and track the storms that are likely to develop tomorrow with the free News 6 weather app. But there we go with the really things starting to come together. That's 6 to 7 o'clock tomorrow. Widespread thunderstorms expected, moving from about southeast to northwest, and then kind of forcing everything over back toward the I-75 corridor late into tomorrow evening, again, as we get some of that extra moisture to return. Here's a live look in Daytona Beach. Beautifully blue skies right now. Skycam bouncing a little bit in the breeze out there, but it feels very nice. We're at 85 degrees. The breeze out of the east-northeast at about 15 miles an hour. We're gusting over to 20 miles an hour every now and then. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
Temperatures tomorrow back to the low to mid 90s. It's the rain chances. That's going to be the change to your forecast. Again, coming up at least from the drier weather that we had over the weekend, relatively speaking, back up to a 60% shot for storms, especially late in the day. On the tropical front, busy all of a sudden. Gabrielle exploded overnight to a Category 4 hurricane. That's where we stand right now. And then we're also watching these two other tropical waves in the main development region. You see the orange arrows here. That's a medium shot for development as it kind of takes a track towards the Turks and Caicos and into the Bahamas. The trailing wave here has a higher opportunity. The red arrows, that's going to be a high shot for development over the next 7 days as it kind of lifts to the northeast of the Caribbean. A lot going on this map, but I kind of wanted to show you what we're tracking here and some of the factors that go into these next couple of waves. All this kind of hodgepodge of color right here, That's that first wave that I showed you. And then there's the second one. Again, very weak right now and should stay weak for quite some time. They start to work their way back towards the west. And it's this model anyway, the GFS, that has the first wave kind of winning the battle between the two. There's going to be a lot of interaction between these two systems that complicates the forecast a little bit when you get two systems close together. And no, they won't combine to form one giant one either. But nonetheless, they're going to try to go to the west, and then you see it start to tug to the north. So here we are, of course, in Florida. Here are the Bahamas, and that's when we're going to start to see, hopefully, that northward movement. The other thing that we're tracking stateside, where you see the blue colors here, it's this big dip in the jet stream. Now, typically, we do love when there's a nice trough or dip in the jet stream right there. It helps to send these things packing when they're coming in from the east. The deal with this one is there's indications that it tries to cut off from the normal west-east flow. We call that a cutoff low, and it helps to kind of jog that and tries to pull it back to the west a little bit. So it does add a little bit to the uncertainty factor that there are going to be two systems likely next to each other, and then this wave that kind of gets hung up in the steering flow a little bit. Just something to watch right now. Not too big of a concern at this moment, but again, just wanted to show you some of the factors that we're looking at into the Weather Center here when tracking those things. 60% shot for storms tomorrow. That's going to be the more imminent deal. We're likely going to see widespread storms tomorrow afternoon. 40% shot for downpours again on Wednesday. We'll keep rain chances elevated through the start of the weekend before they tick back down again, getting into the early stages of next work week, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, NASA selects 10 new astronaut candidates from 8,000 applications.
In minutes, what's next in their 2-year training for Moon and Mars missions. And everything is awesome at Legoland Florida's newly expanded Lego shop. In minutes, the exciting builds happening in the store and beyond. And ahead at 6.
I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. A local man got a telephone call promising to erase his traffic ticket, but ultimately cost him hundreds of dollars.
Because if I can get scammed that easy, somebody else can.
We uncover how the scheme works and what you need to know to protect yourself.
Coming up in the morning, the rising cost of the rail.
As Sunrail operations shift to cities and counties, the price tag is growing.
How much one county is about to pay for the commuter rail service.
And we are tracking some afternoon showers and some very unfall-like weather.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
As we take a live look from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope cam, you're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
Tonight, you can try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in-depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. Then you can watch the late news an hour early. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download that free streaming app. Go to search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire. Well, within the past hour, President Trump announced a link between autism and acetaminophen, the active drug and the pain reliever Tylenol.
But researchers are already pushing back, saying a link has not been proven. Erica Brown has details from the White House.
President Trump says the use of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol during pregnancy, could be linked to the development of autism in children.
You know, the way I look at it, don't take it. Don't take it. There's no downside in not taking it.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who joined President Trump for the White House announcement, has called the rise of autism cases an epidemic.
One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe that their child was injured by a vaccine.
Research has repeatedly debunked links between childhood vaccines and autism. The medical community has largely assessed a number of factors could contribute to the development of autism in children, and that the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy is safe. Canview, the makers of Tylenol, issued a statement saying taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. We strongly disagree with any suggestion otherwise and are deeply concerned with the health risks this poses for expecting mothers.
Tylenol, acetaminophen, is safe in pregnancy. If you have a high fever during pregnancy, that can cause neurodevelopment issues in the baby. So you don't want to let that fever go untreated.
Right.
And, you know, pregnant women may have pain, and that's not something that should go untreated either.
Dr. Celine Gounder, CBS News' medical contributor, says today's announcement could have unintended consequences, leading to confusion among pregnant women on which drugs could be taken safely. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
New at 5, NASA has officially selected its next batch of astronaut candidates for this year's class. The 10 American men and women were introduced to the public Monday during a special ceremony at the agency's Johnson Space Center in Houston. They were selected out of a pool of 8,000 applicants to train for 2 years for those future space missions to the moon and eventually to Mars. As a part of their training, NASA says the astronaut candidates will conduct simulated spacewalks and fly high-performance jets, among other things.
Get ready for an out-of-this-world adventure at Legoland, Florida, as the Winter Haven theme park revealed new details on its first indoor roller coaster called Galactic Coaster. This cosmic creation spans more than 30,000 square feet, which is the length of about 10 basketball courts, and reaches heights of 50 feet. When it opens in early 2026, families will board their own Lego spacecraft for an interstellar adventure.
It's in closing the greatest ride we've ever come up with. It's a co-creation with Lego. You're going to see Lego DNA everywhere in this ride. More Lego, more excitement. Can't wait for guests to see it.
Meantime, the Lego store at Legoland Florida Resort just got a major upgrade. News 6 recently toured the store on its reopening day. It has grown by 2,000 square feet, and one of the most impressive displays is the Tree of Discovery at 11 feet tall. The masterpiece took 22 master model builders more than 1,600 hours to complete. Using 600,000 Lego bricks, the tree tells the story of Lego's building systems, starting with Duplo blocks for tiny hands at the base, traditional Lego bricks in the middle, and technical pieces at the top. And there's a distinctly Florida flavor to this creation, but the real showstopper is the new minifigure factory, where visitors can design their own custom Lego characters. Each personalized minifigure comes complete with a special display box and nameplate, all for under $12. And there's a lot happening at Legoland Florida, including Brick or Treat, which just started this past weekend. It runs every Saturday and Sunday through November 2nd. The event includes seasonal characters, special food, live entertainment, and plenty of trick-or-treating. And we'll have a wrap of it all in this week's In the Loop Theme Park Scoops newsletter. Sign up for free at clickorlando.com/newsletters or scan the QR code there on your screen.
What are your boys dressing up as for Halloween this year?
You know, I have purchased
Sounds
costumes for them
complicated.
to go as Dumb and Dumber. But we'll see. Lloyd and Harry.
You're going to have to cut their hair.
One of them already has it. They have the perfect hair already.
Look at that.
Yes.
I like the easy
So they're
ones.
not on board with this, but I already have the costume. So we'll see.
Have they seen the movie?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
It's like their favorite movie ever.
Then it's perfect. Do it, boys.
Yes. All right, Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
Matt and Lisa, we are beginning the final 6 weeks of hurricane season. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is keeping an eye on what's developing in the tropics right now. He'll have an update. And the damage left over from a storm years ago that's now one step closer to being repaired. First, though, the Orange County Sheriff's Office getting involved after last week's death at Epic Universe, the other major player that's joining in this investigation. Scan the QR code on your screen right now and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos. It could end up right here on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way as well. And we leave you with a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Now at 6, the Orange County Sheriff's Office confirms to News 6 there is a criminal investigation into last week's death at Epic Universe. What investigators are looking into.
I'm Catherine Silver in Sanford, a city that is known for its waterfront, and yet the damage to this marina still hasn't been fixed since Hurricane Ian. We're following the decision that could finally give people the progress they've been waiting for.
And would you pay for something before knowing how much it costs? Why one small business says that's their new reality. News 6 at 6 starts now.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office is looking into the case of a man who died after riding a roller coaster at Epic Universe.
Now, News 6 has received and reviewed internal documents between the Orange County Sheriff's Office and the Medical Examiner's Office. They show a criminal investigation has been opened into how Kevin Zavala died on board Stardust Racers just last week.
Next, now News 6's Mike Valenti continues his coverage on this entire situation. And Mike, you're just learning who else this story has caught the attention of.
Yeah, Matt Ginger, good evening. Kevin Rodriguez Zavala's family has retained the services of prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who says they're seeking full transparency. And to his office, that looks like the release of maintenance logs, inspection records, ride data, and video footage, just to get more insight into what happened in the final moments of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala's life. Just 32 years old, died due to multiple blunt impact injuries. Meanwhile, the medical examiner's office is not telling us anything about Zavala's autopsy, citing the fact that the Orange County Sheriff's Office is investigating this as a criminal probe.
This email from last Friday reveals that a sergeant with the Orange County Sheriff's Office directed the ME's office not to release reports related to Zavala's death, noting that the investigation falls under state statute 782.07, which relates to manslaughter, including the aggravated manslaughter of an elderly person or disabled adult. An Orange County Sheriff's incident report stated that Zavala had a pre-existing spinal injury, and a GoFundMe page includes pictures of him in a wheelchair. In a statement last Thursday, the chief medical examiner said Zavala's manner of death was an accident, and the cause, multiple blunt impact injuries.
That was horrible. On that moment, I think that I have like attack panic.
Last week, we spoke to a tourist named Maria Fernandez, who was several rows in front of Zavala on Stardust Racers. She recalled at the end of the ride seeing blood on his shirt, and his body appeared to be slumped over.
One girl started to say, help, help, help.
Is there anything unusual about the ride itself or anything that happened on the ride before it stopped?
No.
In a message to Universal Orlando Resort team members, President and COO Karen Irwin said in her 35 years with Universal, few moments have been as difficult as this one. She also contended that internal findings to date confirm that the ride systems functioned as intended. Equipment was intact the entire time, and team members followed procedures. State investigators tell News 6 that the Department of Agriculture's current findings align with Universal's. Quote, after monitoring the same tests and reviewing the same information. And before Epic opened to the public, News 6 offered viewers a glimpse inside the park, including pictures of testing seats outside the rides. It's not clear if Zavala had used one of these testing seats before getting on Stardust Racers.
In a statement, attorney Ben Crump wrote, quote, this tragic loss demands a thorough investigation and full transparency. A man died after boarding a ride that should have been safe. We will hold all responsible parties to account and fight to ensure Kevin's family receives the answers and justice they deserve, end quote. Now, I do want to add this from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. They sent us an email within the last hour noting that manslaughter is just the catch-all statute that covers all death investigations into situations that are, quote, not natural. So, of course, we'll keep you apprised on what that means in the next couple days if we learn anything else that emerges from this investigation. And if we know anything else about the civil rights side of this, Ben Crump representing Zavala's family, we will give you any new information on that on clickorlando.com. We're live outside Universal. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Mike, thank you. And Ben Crump was also the legal representative for a family the last time there was a death at a Central Florida theme park. Crump was the attorney for the family of Tyree Sampson, a 14-year-old boy who died on the Orlando Free Fall attraction in Icon Park in March of 22. Last December, an Orange County jury ruled the manufacturer of the ride had to pay Sampson's family $310 million in a wrongful death suit. The family also reached separate settlements with both Icon Park and the company that operated the ride. For all the latest details on that death at Epic Universe, be sure to keep a close eye at clickorlando.com.
All right, something else we're keeping a close eye on, the tropics tonight, where Hurricane Gabrielle has ramped up into a Cat 4 storm.
It's becoming a big deal here, not for any people on land, but meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. Just as far as looking at this thing, Jonathan, last we talked, what was it, Friday, you said this thing looked like a mess, and now it's a beast.
Yeah, we talked about the Maine Development Region has been having, thankfully, issues supporting storms this season. There's been a lot of dry air in there, a lot of wind shear. Now as it moves up and out of the Maine Development Region, it gets into the what we call the subtropics. That's where all the warmth has been in the water. And kind of just like Aaron, it found a nice spot and exploded into a Category 4 hurricane. Again, this is one for the fish. Here is Bermuda passing safely well to the east, and that's going to continue back up to the northeast. In a few days, the Azores will have to watch a much weaker system, but nonetheless, not a Florida deal. We talked about that at length last week. Now, watching two other waves here in the Atlantic. This the trailing one has a high chance in red here. That's its development bubble. The first one here, just east of the Lesser Antilles, has an orange, a medium shot for development. A little bit closer, so we're keeping an eye on it. We're going to talk much more about those two waves coming up at about 6:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, it looks like the city of Sanford is finally moving forward with plans to restore the marina following Hurricane Ian. The city commission is now poised to give their approval for work to begin.
And that is despite FEMA only agreeing to pay a fraction of the cost. Sanford community correspondent Catherine Silver joins us now live from City Hall. Catherine, you've been following the efforts to rebuild from the beginning. People have been waiting for this for quite some time now.
Yes, and I spoke with the mayor today who acknowledged that frustration. It's why he expects the commission will approve a contract for design and permitting to get this ball rolling. This week marks 3 years since Hurricane Ian flooded Sanford's Riverwalk. 3 years later, and there are still scars. Signs of what work still needs to be done. You can see where the storm damaged docks and destroyed pilings, and there's more you can't see beneath the surface. There's so much silt here, the entire marina needs to be dredged.
We've got to get this fixed and get going.
We spoke with Sanford's mayor before a meeting Monday where the commission is expected to approve a contract to start design work and permitting. Why is now the time the city's decided, let's just go ahead and get started on these repairs?
We were getting sort of tired of waiting, so I was ready to move ahead and just have the city pay for it and be done with it. But at about that same time, FEMA agreed to the first, I think, $6.4 million for the silt removal.
The rest of the damage the city will have to pay for out of the general fund while they appeal the federal agency's decision. The total cost to fix all of this is about $20 million. To put that in perspective, it's more than the city's operating budget for public works and recreation combined. It's also more than the entire fire department's operating budget.
Yeah, there'll be taxpayer money all the way. FEMA's not going to help.
Voters we spoke to Monday say they're ready for the repairs.
It's about time.
They'll still be waiting for work to begin. The mayor expects it could be a year before we actually see change along the waterfront.
We've all been frustrated, and we have continually been working with FEMA to try to get this through. It's a key part of our downtown. It's a huge economic driver. It's a recreational driver. We've been working towards this since the storm.
This is on the agenda for tonight's City Commission meeting. It starts here at City Hall in about an hour. I'm live in Sanford, Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. Well, you've probably seen ads to get things now with pre-tariff pricing.
But one small business is saying tariffs the Biden administration levied on Russia and that now have been doubled by President Trump are now impacting one of their best-selling items.
Osceola County community correspondent Laverne McGee spoke with a mother and daughter who own the business and how it's affecting their bottom line.
Jacqueline Doherty started taking ballet lessons at the age of 3 and now owns her own dance and music studio with her mother. In the heart of downtown Kissimmee, they teach piano, violin, and ballet. They say they try to sell her students the best ballet slippers and pointe shoes they can find.
I get these ones from Russia.
I actually like the way that they are made from there.
They cost about $180, and Jacqueline says the prices keep going up due to higher tariffs. Her mother, Joni, says they can't even order them now from the company they've been using for over 10 years.
Saying that due to the tariffs, they're no longer shipping to the United States.
They say the constant changes in higher U.S. tariffs are putting a financial strain on them, and some parents can no longer afford to take lessons with the rising costs. They order supplies from places like the United Kingdom, Japan, and Russia.
I've seen violin prices go up. I've seen point shoes prices going up.
In some cases, they say they have to sign a form acknowledging they're responsible for the price after it's ordered, even if it goes up because of a change in the tariff amount.
I don't know if it's like a $5 extra fee or a $50 extra fee.
Joni says she tries to work with parents on prices, but says she's not sure how long they can sustain their costs continually fluctuating. But their love of ballet and music keeps them going despite financial uncertainty. I'm your Osceola County Community Correspondent Laverne McGee, News 6.
Still to come on News 6 at 6, a man is out hundreds of dollars after someone called promising to erase his traffic ticket. How the scheme works and what you need to know to protect yourself.
Plus, sometimes the sports world takes a backseat to what's important in life, and today is one of those days. We're remembering one of UCF's assistant coaches who passed away this weekend.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
A local man got a call promising to erase his traffic ticket, but ultimately it cost him hundreds of dollars.
News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden uncovers how the scheme works and what you need to know to protect yourself.
Did you ever think this could happen from a fender bender?
No.
Damian Shellberger was in a minor crash in his Chevy Silverado. He was ticketed, and even though the damage was minimal, the phone call that came about a week later was costly.
This is Sergeant Anderson with the Volusia County Courthouse and Civil Processing Division.
I'm calling in regards to a citation we have here for Mr. Shellberger.
So this person had all of the information.
The price of the ticket, he knew everything. And it made me feel that it was true.
This is in regards to that citation for a failure to use due care, sir.
What normal person can know all this information?
Here's how. After you get a traffic ticket, it goes from the law enforcement agency that issued it to the county clerk of the court's office. Once it gets to the clerk's office, it becomes a public record. And all of the details of the ticket, the date, the vehicle type, are online for anyone to access, even criminals.
Shellberger was told he could pay using a payment app.
I would have to pay through one of those, and I can get the ticket removed, no points, no nothing. Just pay the ticket.
He sent the money via Apple Pay. The crook said they didn't get it, so he sent it twice and was out of $332.
I don't want something like this to happen to somebody else.
This is actually a new twist on a familiar scheme.
He told me that I had a $20,000 bond and I was able to pay 10% of it over the phone through Zelle.
Back in May and July, News 6 told you about the jury duty scam.
Every week, criminals claiming to work for the court system or law enforcement call our residents threatening to arrest them for missing jury duty.
So many people are getting the calls and losing money that it prompted Orange County Sheriff John Mina, Clerk of Courts Tiffany Moore Russell, and Chief Judge Lisa Munyon to produce this public service announcement warning the public.
This is a scam.
The clerk's office will never contact you by phone or email, demanding money or personal information.
Shellberger wants others to beware of the latest evolution.
Because if I can get scammed that easy, somebody else can.
Remember, don't fall for the scheme, don't get ripped off, but if you do, email me at theinvestigators@wkmg.com. I'm Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Yep, we all think we're smarter than that until it happens to you. All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. And we've enjoyed some nice dry conditions, but that's about to change.
I think so. As we get into tomorrow, you're going to notice that humidity is going up ever so slightly. That's going to help to fuel some extra thunderstorms with the heating of the day. Right now, everything's kind of focused off towards South Florida. You see the white on your screen there. That's the cloud cover. The green is the radar portion, picking up the rainfall closer to Lake Okeechobee, then back down towards the Florida Keys. There, by the way, it's the hurricane that we were talking about, Gabrielle. That's way out there again, having no influence on our weather. But this tropical moisture going to continue to surge up the Florida Peninsula tomorrow. The brighter the green, the higher the moisture content here. Taking this through Tuesday into Wednesday, and notice the bright greens sliding right up the Florida Peninsula. And if we do get those storms, and I think we will, you can track them with that free News 6 weather app, as you just saw there. More moisture then comes in for the weekend out ahead of another front, really pumps in those storm chances again as we move again towards the end of the work week into the weekend. As far as tomorrow is concerned, rest of tonight, there's 7 to 8 o'clock. Anything that gets going will be few and far between and closer to the I-75 corridor. I think we start things off dry tomorrow. It's once we get into the afternoon and more of a typical Florida afternoon, there's 4 to 5 o'clock. You see the scattered downpours getting going, and then an eruption there of widespread stuff across most of the I-4 corridor, and then pushing back toward I-75 deeper into the evening before things wind down. Here's a really cool shot here. A live look downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Sky Cam tonight. Just a few of those puffy clouds. Those will go down as the sun goes down tonight. Temperatures back to the upper 80s. The breeze set about 10 to 15 miles an hour out of the east. Again, it's a live look with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Sky Cam. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Temperatures tomorrow back to the low to mid 90s along into the west of I-4, back to around 90 closer to the beaches. Rain chances tomorrow up to 60%. That'll be the biggest difference in terms of the forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures getting back up into the upper 80s in Oak Hill tomorrow. Again, the one change also that we are seeing, you can notice it if you look outside again. We're losing the daylight at a pretty good clip here. September is one of the biggest months for that change. Now on the first day of fall, which is today, 7:21 is the sunset. Then we have that time change thing, and that's when things really start to change. The daylight is displaced again. At least it's a little earlier if you get up early for a run. The sun will set at 5:39 by the time we get to November 2nd. Mentioned those two tropical waves again. They're out there in the Atlantic. Cautiously optimistic that both of these want to turn, especially watching the one that's further to the south and west, closer to the eastern Caribbean. There is going to be a dip in the jet stream that's going to try to influence it a little bit. If you want to learn more about that, I have a whole write-up on it in our newsletter that's coming out in about an hour and 40 minutes, right around 7 o'clock. You can scan that QR code or you can go to clickorlando.com/newsletters. We have some of the ensemble forecasts in there and gets into the deep dive of what you need to know about those couple of waves up there. Again, just something to watch at this time. And of course, we're going to talk about it live at 9:30 tonight on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. Locally, it's all about the rainfall. Those chances going up to 60% tomorrow, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Okay. All right, Ryan's here now with sports.
Yeah, an incredibly sad day for UCF football.
It has been a really difficult stretch for everyone associated with this program. That's how well liked this man was. Coming up, reaction to the passing of offensive line coach Sean Clark. Thoughts from Scott Frost and athletic director Terry Mohajir as the university mourns the loss of a man gone far too soon. News 6 at 6 will be right back.
Oh man, the UCF football team lost a key part of their staff and somebody that everybody really seemed to love.
Yeah, guys, everyone talks about teams being families.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what the sport is, and obviously when you lose a family member, especially suddenly, it is absolutely devastating. And that is absolutely the deal at UCF, where there has been a dark cloud hanging over the program the past couple of weeks as the Knights played for their ailing offensive line coach, Sean Clark. But today, confirmation of the worst news possible, as Coach Clark passed away following a medical emergency suffered earlier this month. A coach's coach who touched everyone in the UCF program in his short time in Orlando. The 50-year-old Clark died unexpectedly last night at an area hospital, according to a statement from the university. Clark had initially been listed in stable condition following his medical emergency less than 2 weeks ago. He leaves behind his wife and 2 children. UCF Athletic Director Terry Mohajir released a statement today saying about Clark, quote, He brought passion, integrity, and a genuine love for people to everything he did. Sean will be remembered not only for his impact on the game, but also for the relationships he built and the example he set as a husband and father, end quote. Head coach Scott Frost issued this statement, quote, "He was a remarkable man, husband, and father who cared deeply about his players and staff. The reaction of our players and coaches to the news this morning is a testament to Sean's character and the impact he had on every life that he touched," end quote. Frost added that Clark was loved, a sentiment that was clear when the head coach met with reporters just last Monday.
I can't say enough good about him. You know, you enjoy this sport and you want to do it with people you like and care about. And there's not very many guys I've ever been around that I enjoy being around as much as Coach Clark. Not just a great coach, but just a really good man.
Before his time at UCF, Clark coached at other schools, working as both an assistant and head coach. His impact was deep. Several coaches across the country have offered their condolences to the Clark family and UCF program. Now, one of his previous stops was at Appalachian State, his alma mater. Clark was the head coach there for 5 seasons before joining the staff at UCF this year. In 2023, Clark led the Mountaineers to a win over Miami of Ohio in the Cure Bowl at the Bounce House. Here he is celebrating afterwards. He was, by all accounts, a we before me guy, and that team-first mentality was clear when Clark spoke to reporters this spring about his new role at UCF.
It's great. Coach Frost sets the direction of the program, and it's our job as assistant coaches to show what he does. I'm blessed to have been the head coach before and to know what it's like to be perform for the head coach. I mean, our job is to tell the truth and find solutions and keep things off his desk. So, again, I'm very thankful for Coach Frost for the opportunity.
Our heartfelt condolences go out to the Clark family and everyone who loved him. Now, the Knights will play their first Big 12 game this Saturday at Kansas State. Today, we learned that the Knights' home game against Kansas, October 4th, will kick off at 7:30, and the Space game against Houston, Friday, November 7th, will kick off at 8 o'clock. It is shaping up to be some showdown in Tallahassee, October 4th. If Florida State can knock off Virginia this Friday on the road, it'll be a top 10 matchup between the Noles and Canes on October 4th. Both teams are unbeaten and have looked impressive, albeit against varying levels of competition. Canes are off this week, but here's FSU coach Mike Norvell from earlier today discussing this Friday's first test outside of Doak Campbell Stadium.
You know, going on the road Friday night, national TV, and it's an exciting opener for us. You know, our guys, I think have handled the short week and just the adjustment of what we do. I think they've handled that well up to this point.
So good luck to the Noles this Friday, and of course, our thoughts with Coach Frost and the entire Knight Nation. They're just devastating.
Absolutely tough for that to happen. And
Thanks, Ryan.
Hate to see it happen to the Knights. Thank you, Ryan. More news coming up tonight at 9 o'clock on ClickOrlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app.
We'll see you then. Until then.